What's going on, boxing fans? It's your boy Jay with Ashy Knuckles Boxing. And this particular topic is going to be heavyweights. Vitali Klitschko versus Chris Arreola. This is a very interesting match, to say the least. And the reason why I say to say the least is because it's in the heavyweight division, which is the not so glamour division at this juncture. You know, usually if the heavyweight division is rich with talent, American talent that is, then, you know, boxing has a tremendous success because, let's not be mistaken, the majority of the boxing mainstreamers are attracted to the heavyweight division. And being that we have a decorated history of dominance in the heavyweight division, the United States that is, it was always easy to keep boxing afloat because of it. But at this point, there really isn't a lot of talent in the division. There's a couple of key names in the division who look promising, but as of now, the Klitschkos run it. Now, in this fight with Vitali Klitschko and Chris Arreola, he's a guy, he primarily fights out of the West Coast. I mean, he shows a lot of promise. He's a very, very tough guy. I believe he's promoted by Goose and Tudor. But he's a tough guy. He has a lot of heart. He's a very, very solid guy. I mean, as far as his boxing ability, he really doesn't have a sound technique. He's not fundamentally sound. He'll use a jab every now and then, but at times, more times than not, you can lure him into a trade or a shootout. And that's pretty much more indicative of his style. That's what he wants. He wants to get in a shootout with you, because if you get in a shootout with him, more than likely it'll be easier for him to close the distance because you're not keeping the jab on him. And if you're not keeping Chris Arreola offset and you allow him to get within punching range, he's probably going to bomb you out. I mean, to be a rather large man fighting in the ring, he actually throws his punches well when he's not getting too wild in there. His punches are really short and they have a lot on it. And he has quicker hand speed than what, I mean, if you look at him, it's, you know, his size can be really deceiving because he has more hand speed than a lot of people give him credit for. And he has a pretty big punch. So more times than not, you have been accustomed to seeing him on television winning in most of the exchanges between he and his opponent. He's fought some solid opposition. It's not like they've been putting him in there with powder puffs. I mean, the most recognizable name on his ledger would have to be Jamil Big Time McCline. And if there was ever an opponent to prepare you for what you're going to face in Vitali Klitschko, you have to think that dimension-wise, a guy with the size and stature of Big Time McCline can prepare you for what you're going to face when you face one of the Klitschkos, being that they're around the same height, around the same size, and relatively have the same reach and hand speed. But as far as technique wise, Jamil McCline cannot prepare Chris Arreola for fighting any of the Klitschkos. So what I see in this particular fight is this. I see Vitali Klitschko, one of the Klitschko brothers who primarily fight out of Germany. Vitali Klitschko is the more entertaining out of the two brothers. Now, they've already established that they will never fight each other, so you have to pretty much say that they dominate the heavyweight division together. Vitali Klitschko, 6'7", over 80-inch reach. I mean, they're both pretty robotic, as in they're not very rhythmic fighters, but Vitali Klitschko is the more entertaining out of the two, and the reason why I say this is because his punch output is higher than his brother Vladimir, and also Vitali Klitschko is willing to take more chances. And when you're willing to take more chances, throw more punches, and exchange more with your opponent, the crowd is more happy with that type of performance. Doesn't mean that it's technically sound, doesn't mean you're a great fighter for doing it, but you know, it gives you an opportunity to be seen on network television in the United States, and If HBO signs off on it, you know, you can make some money. And that's what everybody wants to do. Everybody wants to fight on HBO. But Vitali Klitschko, he has a great jab. He has a big right hand, just like his brother. And like I said before, he's willing to take a lot more chances versus Vladimir Klitschko, who's very calculated. Everything he does is very calculated, which more times than not translate into a boring outing with him winning, which I don't have a problem with him winning. I don't have a problem with anyone winning. But as far as being entertaining, more times than not, you won't see a lot of entertainment in a Vitali Klitschko fight. Now, in this fight with Chris Arreola and Vitali Klitschko, I mean, Vitali has so many ways he can beat Chris Arreola. I hate to disappoint all the Arreola fans out there. He does have an opportunity to pull an upset in this fight, and I'll get to that in a minute. But Vitali Klitschko is he's pretty sound fighter. He has like I said, a great jab and a big right hand. But you know, more times than not, I've seen him willing to fight with his hands at his waist. This can be good and bad. It's good because of the fact that he's 6'7", and it's going to be hard to make contact with him anyway. It's also good because his hand speed is so good. As such, if you were to rush in trying to take advantage of that opportunity to capitalize on that mistake of dropping your hands, his hand speed is so good that he can catch you coming in anyway and catch you with a couple of combinations. And he's actually a heavyweight that throws punches in combination, and I'm not just talking about twos, I'm talking about threes and fours. The bad part about it, it's not technically sound. I mean, you drop your hands in the ring, you are asking to be knocked out. So another thing about Vitali Klitschko is if he wanted to take Chris Arreola into deep waters, that's another way he can beat him. He can just box him round after round and take him into the late rounds, which he's never gone before because Chris Arreola hasn't gone past 9 rounds. And this is a championship fight. He's going to have to be in the type of condition that can take you into deep waters, and he hasn't done that yet. He also hasn't shown the ability to get himself in dog shape to be able to endure the long route. So in this fight, I see brutal domination from Vitali Klitschko, taking Chris Arreola apart, continuing America's quest to find that next black hope and white hope, any hope that comes out of the United States in the heavyweight division. Now, there is some talent. We do have Kevin, I forget his name, Kevin Williams, Kevin Smith, something like that. He has excellent boxing skills. He may give them a challenge. And you also have Eddie Chambers, who's a relatively undersized heavyweight, but I mean, let's not make any mistake about it. I mean, the Klitschkos run it. That's just the way it is. You know, it's going to be like that for a little bit. And like I said, this is a fight that Arreola can win. And if I was Chris Arreola, if I was his chief second, if I was his strategizer for this fight, my primary goal would be to run right at Vitali Klitschko and try to bomb him out early. Because like as you've seen in many other Arreola fights, he wins when he's in those exchanges. Get in Vitali Klitschko's chest, because like I said, he's not rhythmic. He's not a guy who can use lateral movement very well, that is, to escape, you know, your onslaught. But most people don't come in with an onslaught. They try to box him, which is very stupid. You're not going to win that fight. You're not going to win that fight. So if I was Chris Arreola, I would look to bomb him out early. And I think Chris Arreola has a big enough punch to put the big guy down, maybe once, maybe twice. But if he, you know, is very patient and try to take a calculated approach on trying to defeat Vitali Klitschko, it's going to be a long, painful night for Chris Arreola. So, and that's exactly what I see happen. I think he's going to be intimidated by the big fella. And I see Vitali Klitschko knocking out Chris Arreola before 8 rounds. It's your boy Jay. Another Ashy Knuckles boxing prediction. Peace.